Right, here we go again then, seeing as you lot seem to really enjoy me messing up the audio and not recording it, and you seem to love watching me talk out of sync with me on the screen. We're doing another episode for it, just because you asked so nicely. Today though is quite an important episode. We're starting a brand new season. I need to introduce you to 9 new transfers. So we're going to go through it before we get into today's first game against Swansea. Rather than have me sort of talking out of sync in the bottom of the screen, quite distracting, I've decided that instead, for the transfer bit, I've just taken screenshots. So actually, there's 1 or 2 spoilers for how well they perform, but it's not really too much of a big issue so far. So if you want to ignore it, just look at their attributes rather than like looking around the screen at the stats and things like that. But it's not really something I can hide from you. We're going to have to deal with it right now. Also, because you guys seemed to really enjoy it the other day when I decided to sing the intro, I'm doing it again. I'm not quite sure why I'm doing it again, because it's quite embarrassing, but seeing as you guys liked it, I'm going to sing the whole thing this time. So I hope you enjoy it. Let's take it away. Oh my god, for God's sake, I've just sung the Real Deal Save song intro. How have I done that? Oh my god. Well, I'm not changing it now. It's the Lincoln Loco 2. Yeah. For God's sake, Tom, you absolute idiot. So then, here we go, a brand new season, season 18 of the Lincoln Loco 2. I'm buzzing for this one. Hopefully we're going to have a really top quality season, break into the top 10 and really push towards the points. I want to try and get at least 55, 50, 60 points, around the 50, 60 point mark. I want that this season, which should put us in the top 10 and on the verge of the top 7, which is kind of where I think we should be, especially with the signings that we've made. We've got Swansea coming up on the first day of the season, newly promoted Swansea, so it should be a routine win. But other than that, we have got 9 new signings coming in. We need to talk about them. So before we get on to the ins, we need to look at the outs. And we're going to start off with the release players. We've only released 3 players. Dominic Edmondson, the goalkeeper, and Michael Thomas, the centre-back. They've both been let go because they just weren't ever going to improve the squad or break into the first team. But sadly, it's had to happen. But Gabriel Tiriac has left the club on a free transfer after he didn't want to sign a new contract. He's gone. I'm sorry, but we're going to have to try and reflect on life now after Tiriac, which is quite upsetting, but it's unfortunately something we're going to have to do. Now looking on to players that have left the club on loan or on transfer, we've got quite a few youth players who have gone out on loan. We don't worry about those too much, but we've managed to get 3 players out on loan for quite a substantial bit of money. So Thomas Christiansen has gone to Young Boys for a loan for the season with 200k being paid to us per month, which is pretty good for us, I've got to say. I'm quite happy with that. We get £2 million over the season for him being on loan, which is really good. No one wanted to buy him. We offered him to clubs, but no one was really interested in buying him. So a loan option seemed like the best thing to do. And to get £2 million for him on loan is pretty good. And we've also got very similar deals for Lee Phillip, our former striker, who is very good in the Premier League. He's gone to Fulham in the Championship. We're going to get £1.8 million for him over the season, but he should be getting 15, 20 goals in the Championship for Fulham, which is quite good. And maybe he'll come back next season and get some more goals for us, maybe if he does play well. Also, Greg Smith has gone to Brentford for £100,000 per week on loan, which again, £1 million to us over the course of the season. All 3 of these players, they've got a contract for next season with us. So they've got 1 more year on their deal once they're back from their loan. So next summer is the summer we've got to be selling them or offering them new deals. That's kind of what the ultimatum is with these players if we want to make some money off them. Importantly though, we have made £16.25 million off the sale of Dylan Telfer to today's opponents, Swansea City. Now, Dylan Telfer wasn't a player that I wanted to sell. I wanted to sell Frankie Delou. However, no clubs were really interested in him at all, and he's not that much worse than Telfer, and all the bids came for Telfer. So I thought, okay, we'll sell Telfer, we'll keep Delou, and that'll be okay because we can bring in another defender. So Dylan Telfer has left the club for £16.25 million, taking our total net income to £21.5 million. And now it's time to move on to the ins. And we've brought in 9 players for £49.5 million. We've got some good deals. This is probably the best transfer window we have ever had. So let's go through them. So the plan is then to go through our transfers in position order, starting with goalkeeper. So we kick things off with Sebastian Stelinka, who we brought in from Inter Milan for £5.75 million. He's our new goalkeeper, and he's also the Polish international first choice goalkeeper. So he's got massive international experience, has played at the top level at Inter Milan as well, but's fallen out of favour there. So that's why he decided to come to us and hopefully progress his career at Lincoln United. Now, Jose Pedro has done extremely well for us. He's been a great player for us. However, I just think we need to up the quality just a little bit in goal to help us progress with our goals even further this season. Next up is a new right back as well. This guy is called Christian Kuks for £6 million from Legia Warsaw, and he's also a Polish international. So him and Sebastian Stalinka are already pretty well versed with each other. They know exactly what they're going to do. Kuks comes in for a relatively cheap deal of £6 million. Probably won't be replacing Mirza at right back. I feel like this guy is more cover, and he does actually play more as a right wing back. So he's giving us more tactical flexibility, which is what I wanted more than anything else. So expect to see Kuks sort of come in when we switch formations a little bit. There for rotation. Not probably the first choice right back, but you never know what happens with Mirza. If Mirza doesn't play very well, then Kuks is going to be there and capable to step into the lineup. Also, Kuks, actually, he's played 128 games for Legia Warsaw, and in that time got a 7.27 average rating across all of it, which in my opinion is mind-blowing. What an absolute amazing stat that is. Hopefully he continues those kind of performances for us in the Premier League. Switching to the other side of defence, it's now a turn of Daniel Jimenez, another player we've brought in for £6 million. This time he comes in from River Plate, where he's played there for the past few seasons, but has been on loan for 2 seasons at Metz in France. So he's got some European football experience, sort of knows the continent and the way of playing football and the language and the culture, which is quite good. That should help him settle in just a little bit better. He's going to come in as our first choice at left back, which is quite unfortunate for Garana, because Garana's been really, really good the past few seasons. But you've got to say that this guy looks pretty good, and he's going to be taking the first choice left back slot. And finally, in defence, after seeing Telfer leave, we had to get in a new centre-back as well. So Juliano comes in to join the ever-growing ranks of Brazilians at Lincoln United for £12.5 million from Palmeiras. He's the most expensive signing of summer. He's come in and just won the Copa Sudamericana with Palmeiras, which is basically the equivalent of the Europa League in South America. So he's a pretty decent player, knows how to win games, knows how to win competitions. He is going to be absolutely solid for us. If we pair him up with Jefferson Brunninger, we've basically got 2 Brazilian centre-backs who could be Brazilian centre-backs for the national team in the future, which is pretty good in my opinion. Moving further up the pitch, we're bringing in Dylan Leemans from Standard Liège for £9 million. He's a central midfielder, and this one I feel quite bad about. He's got very good stats. He's a bit old. He's 32 years old, so he sort of goes against the model of transfer that I like to bring in. But he's got really good mental and technical abilities that are going to help the squad quite a lot. And I feel quite bad about it because he spent 17 seasons at Standard Liège, made over 350 appearances, and all those appearances have equalled a 7.00 average rating. So he's done really, really well. He's a top quality player, plays very well consistently, but we've stolen him from Standard Liège before he had a chance to retire at the club that he started at. So I feel a bit bad about it, but he's going to come in as a really good player. Next up, another central midfielder. We've got a £10 million player from Vitesse called Willem. This Dutch central midfielder has played over 200 games for Vitesse and got a 7.2 average rating in those games. So clearly, we've brought in some real top quality signings in my opinion this time around. I'm really happy with this one. This guy is going to come in and slot straight into the centre of midfield and hopefully going to be here for a long time to come as well. Look forward to seeing his performances. This next signing for us is a bit ridiculous. He's getting on a little bit. But we have managed to sign Vinicius Jr. on a free transfer after he was let go of his contract by Fenerbahce. This is the same Vinicius Jr. that's just joined Real Madrid for £40 million. In-game, he goes to Manchester United for £142 million, and now we've got him in the squad. I'm not quite sure I can still believe this, but we've got Vinicius Jr. Hopefully, he doesn't do a Renato Sanchez or a Thomas Callas get injured and retire in November, because that would be awful after we're spending quite a bit of money on him per week. Hopefully, though, he's going to come in and be a real good player for us. However, as you can see, he's only got 3-star current ability. He's not really the upgrade that we needed. I didn't scout him out before I tried to sign him. I just went for it because it's Vinicius Jr. I thought I'd sign him anyway. Came in, wasn't the best, which is why this next signing is coming in to be our proper left-sided midfielder. Next up is Luke Carr on loan from Manchester United. He's an England under-21 player and was playing at Swansea last season on loan in a Swansea side that got promoted from the Championship, which is pretty good. Of course, we're playing Swansea later on in today's episode. But he looks like a pretty decent player. He was probably going to be the first choice player, but I think we're going to give Vinicius Jr. a chance to show what he can do at his old age, and maybe Luke Carr could be the backup player. But the last time we got a backup player from Manchester United on the left wing, he was called Brad Yeo, and we all know how that one turned out. What a player he was. And finally, the last transfer we have made is a new striker, and this is probably, I would say, one of the best transfers I have ever made. Federico Martinez comes in from Rosario Central in Argentina on a free transfer, and not just a free transfer last season he got 22 goals in the league. He's had really good goal scoring records in the previous few seasons as well. He's played over 180 games and in that time got a 7.34 average rating. He looks absolutely incredible, and to get him on a free transfer, in my opinion, is amazing. So I'm really pleased to get this one over the line. He's going to partner Pomeroy very nicely this season, and Pomeroy's actually injured for the start of the season, so this guy is going to start the season for us. So hopefully he bags plenty of goals before Pomeroy's back, which is really exciting, and that is all the transfers we've brought in this season. So as we go into today's first fixture of the season against newly promoted Swansea, we've got some new faces in the lineup, but some faces are still the same from last season. Notably, Jose Pedro and Garana still there in goal and at left back, because the new goalkeeper Salinka and the new left back Jimenez, they've both joined the club very recently and aren't match fit enough to be playing. So these two are taking their starting lineups. Juliano, though, does slot into the defence alongside Delu and Mirza at right back. No change in the midfield as for now, as we just want to keep the continuity going with Venturelli, Prosser and Patrick. But Vinicius Jr. is going to be starting on the left wing, with Abel on the right and Marquez starting up front in the place of injured Pomeroy. This, to me, is a lineup that should be battering Swansea today. Absolutely battering Swansea. Let's see how we get on. We start off positively with Vinicius' junior free kick just going over the bar, and then it gets even better when a Swansea midfielder gets injured. We then come pretty close as well. It's even more positive as we put a shot just wide of the post in the first 20 minutes or so. But our hard work does pay off in the end with a great ball forward from Vinicius Jr. and our new striker Federico Marquez just takes it round the goalkeeper in what is already what many are billing goal of the season. When I say many, it's me that's billing it. But he takes it around the goalkeeper, rides a tackle and puts it in the back of the net. That is the mark of a top quality striker. Unfortunately for us, Swansea decide to equalise literally minutes later, which, quite frankly, you hate to see, especially when they're a newly promoted side and we've dominated proceedings so far. And it stays like that until half-time, so I go quite aggressive at half-time with them, which worked pretty well, as Swansea then score straight after half-time to make it 2-1, which is really, really frustrating. You really hate to see that. To be fair, it was a good bit of play from Swansea coming forward, as you can see here. And for us, it was just really, really bad defending. No one challenging, no one marking, and they can put it past Jose Pedro in the back of the net. Suddenly, we are 2-1 down against a relegated side, or a new promoted side, sorry, and we're running out of time. With less than 5 minutes to go, we are still 2-1 down, which is rubbish. Luckily for us, though, Vinicius Jr. can put the ball across to Mirza, who can just pass it to Abel, who is then able to put it in the back of the net himself to bring the scores back to 2-2, which you love to see. However, you kind of hate to see it still because they are a newly promoted side, Swansea, and we wanted to win the game, but unfortunately we don't. It ends 2-2 in the end, and really that's not the result we wanted. It's not the result we needed, and it's a bit of a shame, really. Next episode then was meant to be Tottenham and Derby, which I recorded, but obviously the audio's not broken on it, but I've not played any more games since then. So next episode, we're going to go back to an actual proper live commentary with actual audio that works, and we're going to be playing against Manchester City instead, and then whoever's after Manchester City. It's gone off my screen now, so I can't see who we're playing. But Manchester City is definitely one of the two games that we're going to be playing tomorrow when we're back to normal service, thank goodness. So, sorry for the delay, sorry for the weird episodes recently, and sorry for just me being out of sync, obviously, with what's on the screen right now. But I hope you have enjoyed today's episode. If you have done, please drop a like on the video for me, and subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. I would really, really appreciate it. And I'll see you next time for some more Lincoln Loco action.